Hello, my name is Han. Today I've got a nice little team deathmatch gameplay where we come from behind, win the game, and I'm using the M98B sniper rifle. But as you can probably tell by the title, that's not what I'm going to talk about today. I thought I'd do a little bit of a story time for you guys and tell you all the story of how a turkey named Fred killed himself. And before I start, this story is 100% true. This goes back to the mid-90s, somewhere around 93, 94, maybe 95. I was around 4 or 5 at the time. And before I get started with the actual story, just let me set it up first. Our property has a lot of land. We live on 2 acres, and I really don't know how to quantify that in any other terms, but it's a lot more land than most people have. Now, putting it into perspective, it's not like a farm or anything like that. I mean, some farms are like 80 acres, something like that, so 40 times the size of my house, but it's still a lot of land for just a personal residence. And because of that, I've had more pets over my life than most kids could dream about. You know how a lot of kids fantasize about having their own pony, things like that? Well, I grew up we had 2 ponies and a retired racehorse. And not just that, we had some pretty unconventional pets too. I mean, horses, not a lot of people have them, but we also had pet goats. 2 of them. One of them was named Ginger, or not Ginger, one of them was named Pepper, and the other one was Marmalade. We had a couple of rabbits. I don't really remember their names. Always at least 5 dogs, and for most of the time we had at least 2 or 3 cats. And last but not least, a pot-bellied pig named Jaja the Boar. When I was in kindergarten, we even had a field trip to my house so the kids could see all the animals. It was a lot of fun. But getting back to the actual story, we had some neighbors who were moving away, and they had a pet turkey named Fred. And through the whole moving process and where they were going, they decided that they just couldn't take care of him anymore, so they decided that we were going to be Fred's new home. So we had a huge going away party at our house. We had all our neighbors here, all kinds of food, we barbecued, things like that. Fred, of course, was at the party, and this turkey, you don't really think of him as like a regular turkey. I mean, he was a pet all of his life. So he really behaved more or less like a dog. He loved people, loved getting petted, wanted all the attention he could get, and with all these people at the party, he was loving it. So we had our party, people were there maybe through the whole afternoon into the evening, things like that. People left around maybe 5 or 6 o'clock. And after the party ended, my dad went out to feed all the animals as we do every day, which was a real chore back then since we had so many animals we had to feed every day. Like the horses and ponies, I don't think we fed every day. We just put a big thing of hay in their feed and then changed that about once every 4 or 5 days. But for most of the animals, feeding was a daily chore. And so at this time, my dad was down feeding the goats. He finished that up and decided to give them a little attention, just petting them, things like that. And Fred, who was just roaming around at the time, saw this. And apparently he got really jealous that the goats were being petted and he wasn't. So he decided to go barreling down the hill like a bat out of hell, just making a beeline for my dad and the goats. And somewhere along the line, the poor bastard tripped. So just take a few moments to think about how that looked. A turkey running full speed down a hill, gets his feet tangled up, and just starts tumbling down the hill. Head over heels, he rolled several times. And by the time he reached the bottom and he stopped rolling, he had broken his neck and died. So this pet that these people have had for several years, like this turkey was old. I mean, he was an old and deep fucker. I wouldn't be surprised if he was at Woodstock. Hope he stayed away from the brown acid. But anyway, their old beloved turkey who they had for years and entrusted us to take care of for the rest of his life lasted less than a day in our care. And this is all of the actual story that I know since I was just a little kid. I wasn't there to see it or anything like that. But it's one of my favorite stories that my dad tells. And I still don't know if my dad told the neighbors what happened. Like, hey, how are you guys moving into your new house? How's everything going? Oh yeah, that turkey you love so much, he died the first day we got him. I mean, I assume he told them sooner or later, but I don't know. And I also don't know what he did with the body. I vaguely recall we having some kind of turkey ceremony for him, but I don't know if we buried him or if he just threw them away, or if he called some kind of rendering service. I honestly don't remember. But anyway, yeah, that's the story of Fred the Dead Turkey. So there's still a couple minutes left in the video. I guess I'll talk about some things I learned about aggressive recon in my years of playing Battlefield. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is something you've probably noticed me doing in all my close range kills for this game. And that is the quick swap to pistol. In Battlefield 4, sniper rifles are one-shot kills to the chest at close range. But if your enemy is running the defensive perks, the first tier of that is body armor. And what body armor does is it reduces 10% of your damage to the torso of your enemies. Which means sniper rifles are no longer a one-shot kill to the chest, meaning you will need a headshot to down them in one shot. You'll see me do it again coming up right here. Enemies right there, shoot them in the throat, quickly switch to my pistol and finish them off. When you're playing recon aggressively, you have to assume that all of your enemies will be running the defensive perks. If you don't, you're just going to find yourself getting one good shot on target and then them gunning you down instantly. But if, when you shoot them, as soon as you pull that trigger, you swap to your pistol, you usually have enough time for a couple follow-up shots to finish them off, since they'll already be down under 10% health. They're usually 3 or 4% if you're close enough. And here's something else I want to talk about coming up right here. I see this guy and decide to swap to my pistol since there are multiple enemies in the area and my pistol's suppressed. I can kill this guy without alerting all his friends. Now if I would have taken the shot with the sniper rifle, chances are his friendly right there would have just turned around and finished me off before I could even crank the bolt to get another round down. When you're playing this playstyle, you really need to use the element of surprise as your friend. And when you're running around in close quarters places like this, I had my pistol out already, so I was able to engage that guy. If I would have had my rifle there, I would have died there too. So you just really got to be mindful of your surroundings. So if you're building your class around, you're planning on only using your pistol to quick swap after shooting him with the sniper rifle, I'd recommend using something like the Glock 18. With that, you can just whip it out and start hosing down the enemy. You don't have to be precise because if any of your bullets hit, they're going down. They're already at low health. Any bullet is going to finish them off. Or you could go with something like the shorty because that just spray in the general direction. At least one of those pellets is going to hit and chances are that'll finish them off too. Now I'm using the compact 45 in this situation. Well, I always use the compact 45 because I prefer a pistol that can do work on its own. When I find myself in close quarter situations, I switch to my pistol all the time, even if I have something like an assault rifle. Because I find that extra maneuverability of just having nothing but a pistol can save your life quite a bit. And I was really proud of my team this game. We were losing for pretty much the whole first half of the game, but everyone seemed to pull it together and we ended up... It wasn't a huge victory, it was pretty close, not as close as it could have been. But at the end, I think we ended up winning by about 10 kills. Which I believe is coming up in a few seconds. So as this game comes to a close, I just want to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my little story and the rest of the gameplay. Feel free to rate the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and don't look at these terrible shots. And again, thanks for watching.